home to work on this from the UK, I have to put up with constant sort of reminders about how the world's chasing them down. But I think my head and my heart both still agree the All Blacks are the favourites for this tournament, but it won't be, and nor should it be. This is the World Cup, it's meant to be competitive, and I think that makes it really exciting, actually.
Speaking of competitive, Christina, the Aussies are not ones to be sniffed at. They love a competition and they always step up for it. Are they a danger here?
Well, I think they've got rugby in their pedigree, and so and we saw what their performance was like in Perth and how they performed. I guess there has been a little inconsistency, but it's a World Cup. They'll be there to play and to perform.
You know what Aussies are like, Hayley. You know, any opportunity.
You never give up.
No, they don't give up. And even, you saw the performance of the cricket team in the Ashes, despite all of the controversy leading in. We saw 2015 Rugby World Cup, wasn't a huge amount of form for the Wallabies coming in. They are a World Cup type of a team. They're a World Cup type of mentality country.
You have obviously spent quite a bit of time in the Northern Hemisphere, over in the UK.
Yeah.
What teams should we be looking at over there? England? Is it too obvious?
Well, it's not too obvious, and actually it's not that obvious at all, because if you look at the Six Nations earlier this year, Wales won that, and on the back of that, Wales picked up the #1 world ranking recently. Then that's yo-yo. Now Ireland have it, which is crazy, because Ireland haven't had a great year by their standards. But actually, the truth is, the best team in Europe, the best team in the Northern Hemisphere is England. And in the 10 years I've lived there, this is probably the best, broadest, deepest team they've got. Eddie Jones, speaking of Aussies, tough Aussies, Eddie Jones has got them in good shape. So they come with a whole heap of expectation and pressure, because of course they bombed out in 2015. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they go.
I like to pick an outside chance. Obviously, everybody wants the All Blacks to win, but if they can't, I'm picking Namibia.
What are you talking about?
Namibia.
You can't say Namibia. No, I don't think they'll make it past the pools, will they?
You know, miracles have happened. Am I way off the mark?
Yeah, way off the mark.
Way off the mark.
I think there's three clear obvious contenders.
Sure.
It's, South Africa, New Zealand and England, and then obviously underneath that would be Wales, Ireland and Australia. I don't know if Namibia quite makes the cut on this.
Fair enough. I'm slightly confused about everybody picking South Africa to win, because, I mean, if you look at the history, they haven't had great form. They've had a few outstanding games.
I think you look at them against New Zealand of late, and we're almost at a stalemate. You know, there's a draw, a win, and obviously a loss. And even in World Cup, they've had 2 wins, and we've had 2 wins. So, I mean, it's the opening match. We're in for a really good game.
You roll back 2 years, right? We beat them 57-0 at Albany Stadium on the North Shore there, and it was like the bottoming out point for Springbok rugby at that point, a little bit like their 07 for us. There was a moment in time, and I think they've learned from that. Rassie Erasmus, their coach, has had experience all over the world. We were just talking, they've named their team ahead of the All Blacks for Saturday night. It's the first time in 4 years they've named the same team from the last performance. So they are confident, they are settled, they're big. And many people think that this game could send the two teams off in different directions of the draw, and they could meet again in the final.
How do you think Japan's going to cope with this tournament?
Well, if it's anything like the last World Cup, they caused an upset, didn't they, against South Africa? But then obviously recently just got thumped by South Africa. So I think home advantage, they've got the people behind them. Still, I don't think they're going to be good enough to. They could make the quarters, but.
I love their story, if I'm honest. I think the opportunity for them to play a home World Cup, it's a country that rugby isn't, it's the first time a World Cup's gone to a non-rugby playing nation in the truest sense of it. And so that's exciting for rugby, but also they are a team, yes, I agree with you, I think they might be at a stretch to make the quarters, but they'll be eyeing up Ireland and Scotland as an opportunity to sort of take a scalp and make proper Japanese rugby history. And I think from everything we've seen, the country has embraced all of the teams. They're turning up in their thousands to watch training. So guys hit tacklebacks. What's that about?
They're learning hakas, they're learning song.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So the culture's definitely there.
That is so cool, and supporting teams. But of course, within a team, there is always an outstanding player. What players should we be keeping an eye on?
I guess I'm a big fan of South Africa and New Zealand, and I think that will be the final. So Ardie Savea is probably the most informed player in New Zealand. He had an outstanding Super Rugby season. What he does around the breakdown, he's like a full back, can run around backs, So I think Ardie is going to be really influential to the All Blacks. And then I think the second player to look out for, and maybe that's because I'm a biased halfback, but is Patrick de Klerk for South Africa. He shows with his kicking game, he's outstanding, he's nippy around the ruck. He'll be a player that could, cut or run rings around New Zealand.
Amazing.
He's a bottle blonde like you as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, James. I think I'm going to leave you now. Good luck, you guys. Well, you're going to have a busy few weeks, but you're going to so enjoy it, and we're going to enjoy watching Christina Sue and Jada Kimmel. Thank you.
Well, making news this morning, Indonesia is set to return some contaminated waste to New Zealand. All the details at 7:30.
Also ahead, the inspirational story of a Down syndrome woman who travels the world to inspire others, and her mother, who never gave up on her.
Beautiful people, top designer clothes, front row fashion shows. What you do and who'd you know? Inside the world.
It's no secret they all want the immunity pin.
I'm gonna give it everything that I've got.
But who they'll cook against
The chef is a secret.
is a real mystery.
Come on, guys.
Oh, boy. MasterChef Australia, tonight, 7:30 on 1.
The Tile Warehouse spring sale is on now with 20 to 70% off all tile, stone and mosaics. Explore our beautiful range of tiles and exclusive designs to create your dream home. 20 to 70% off only at Tile Warehouse.
Life is pretty hectic. When I shop, I want to be in and out with minimal fuss. I want quality products, but at a great price. I grab Super Savers so I know I'm getting a great deal.
Lovely, thank you.
Everyday value means I get everyday items at great prices that last. And as a Club Card member, I get discounts with club deals. The rewards are a bonus too. It's easy. There's always a way to save every day at New World. Enjoy better.
There's more to this little rhyme than meets the eye. Mr. Humphreys is showing us how to keep our home warm and dry. When our home got too cold, he went blue in the face. And when it got too humid, his horns pointed up into outer space. But now his horns are curled, and his face is brown. I know we're in the healthiest home in town. See how Mr. Humphreys and ANZ are helping Kiwis live in warmer, drier homes.
Look at this kiwi. It's so smart because it knows the best botanicals are here in New Zealand. So it doesn't fly. It stays. And we get it. Because we have some of those botanicals in our tea. And we wouldn't fly away either. Tea order. Welcome to New Zealand.
Clean like the pros and get beautiful floors with SpinMade. Remove scuffs and stains quickly, even crayons, no problem. It's 200 revolutions per minute of cordless cleaning power in the palm of your hand. With dual rotating heads, SpinMade lifts dirt and stains effortlessly. Clean and polish the whole house in one charge. Changing the reusable pads takes seconds. Clean and polish any hard surface, laminate, wood or tile. Now you can bring back that luster and make your floors look new again with SpinMade. Available now at the warehouse.
Travel Expo is coming soon. It's your ticket to amazing deals, expert advice, and exclusive offers from your favorite travel brands all in one place, plus many chances to win. Join us in Auckland on Saturday 21 and Sunday 22 September at ASB Showgrounds, or in store nationwide at your local flight centre or travel associates. Plus, register online and double your chances to win the ultimate Japan experience for two. Visit travelexpo.co.nz for show details and local store opening times.
Harrison's Mega Saurus sale is back with up to 40% off top-selling carpets, vinyls, curtain fabrics and blinds. Plus pay nothing for 20 months. Book a free in-home consultation. Harrison's, wonderful made easy.
Rugby union is to become professional. They did it overnight. One day you're amateur, the next day you're professional.
I've never seen so much money exchanged. Some big clothes got burned. The only thing that matters is the result.
I don't think that's real rugby. The story of rugby. Saturday 8:45 on 1.
Today's breakfast brew is bright and warming with natural ginger. Dilmar's pure Ceylon green tea with ginger is always delicious.
Good morning, New Zealand. Enjoy breakfast with a fresh cuppa by Dilmar. Do try it.
Welcome back. Indonesia is sending 547 containers of waste back to Western countries, and New Zealand is on the list. The waste was found to be contaminated with plastic and hazardous materials. They'll also be sending containers back to the United States, Spain, Belgium, Britain and Australia. There's growing backlash in Southeast Asia that it's being used as a dumping ground for the developed world's trash.
The Prime Minister has touched down in Japan ahead of her meeting with her Japanese counterpart, where trade is expected to be high on the agenda. Political reporter Mikey Sherman is also there and sent this report.
Japan is New Zealand's fourth largest trading partner. Year on year, it's a relationship worth about $9 billion in two-way trade. And Jacinda Ardern says she's keen to enhance that relationship, and that'll form much of the basis of her official talks with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe when they meet later today. It'll be an official welcome ceremony at the Prime Minister's official residence. It'll include all of the pomp and ceremony, which will start with a guard of honour. The two will then go into private discussions and then hold a joint statement at a press conference.
The Children's Commissioner says his review into oranga tamariki's practices for Māori will focus on what works for mana whenua when a baby is uplifted and doesn't want to be. It was launched in June and is one of 4 currently being carried out into the government agency. Andrew Beecroft released the scope of the review yesterday.
So we thought we could best focus on what happens when there are serious concerns raised for Māori babies under 3 months. What could change, what could be done better so that those babies could in the first instance stay with their wider whānau wherever possible.
The National Party continues to condemn Labour's handling of sexual assault allegations. Deputy Leader Paula Bennett claiming victims were told explicitly not to go to the police with their complaints and felt she was the only person who they could turn to.
There's actually young people out there that tried to be heard numerous times by people that were senior. They got to a point where, unfortunately for them, they saw me as the only avenue to have a voice, and I have given them one. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Saudi Arabia is showing drone wreckage to prove claims Iran's responsible for destroying 2 of its oil facilities. Saudi Arabia's military spokesman says the evidence proves the attack on Saturday, which took out 5% of the world's oil supply, was, quote, unquestionably sponsored by Iran. Yemen's Houthi rebels claimed the assault, something the United States was first to cast doubt on. President Donald Trump now wants new sanctions on Iran. To sport, and the team to open the All Blacks World Cup campaign in Japan will be named today. New Zealand take on South Africa in Yokohama on Saturday, attempting to win their 3rd straight title. Coach Steve Hanson's tipped to name his strongest possible lineup for the Pool B clash. The All Blacks come into the clash having only beaten the Springboks once in their last 3 matches. Meanwhile, Wallabies coach Michael Checker will today also name his side to take on Fiji for their first game of the tournament. Australia was yesterday welcomed to the city of Ibetsu, where they're basing themselves for the Cup. Checker says the team for Saturday's match will reflect the style of play the side's trying to achieve.
The team's going to be selected based on some performances, like that of reviews we've had building in to the tournament, and across the whole squad. Not just the 23 that will be picked, and when different players play throughout the tournament.
After the United States' disastrous Basketball World Cup campaign, Steph Curry's put his name forward to be a part of the country's Olympic defence. The USA finished an embarrassing 7th in China this month, their worst ever World Cup performance. An appearance in Tokyo next year would be Curry's first at an Olympic Games. That would definitely add some credence to the games, wouldn't it? Steph Curry.
Yeah, wouldn't it? That shows that they were sort of just banking on the fact that they were the best in the world, and now that they've been frightened, they're going to bring the big guns in, aren't they?
Yeah, he's a big gun.
Yeah. Big selection debates and dilemmas in the Jones household currently. I'm a big Aaron Smith fan. My wife's aunt at TJ. She loves TJ. Aaron Smith, speed of the pass every time. You've got to have... What?
You can't say that on that chair.
John's not here. You can say whatever.
He loves TJ.
Wow. He's basically the founding member of the TJ Pettinato.
John's in Japan. He's not going to hear this. Aaron Smith all day, every day.
Tell him.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you.
Yeah, look, we're in agreement. Maddie, TJ, Aaron.
TJ.
Oh, goodness. Just get your garage door open and get going.
Yeah, there we go.
I love TJ. And he's a very talented player.
As well.
I love TJ and he's a talented player.
So I believe. I can't really offer too much more.
You're blushing, baby. You're blushing. Goodness me.
He is flashy. It's getting hot in here.
Let's get to your weather, shall we?
Go on.
Bit of a frosty start in Southland and Otago Bay. Mostly fine throughout the day. Just watch out for a bit of cloud in Invercargill with a chance of a couple of showers later on. 15 degrees in Queenstown and Wamadoo, 16 for Dunedin and Alexandra. You're looking overcast in Milford Sound with the odd shower until tonight, but along the coast and into Nelson there's decent weather once the morning cloud lifts. 13 the high for Milford Sound, Hokitika and Greymouth. Things look lovely shifting east with just that chilly beginning with frosts as you set off, but it'll warm up pretty quickly. 16 degrees in Ashburton and Christchurch, 17 further north in Blenheim. Cracker of a day across in the lower north with plenty of sunshine. Again though, a bit of a bite early on with a frosty morning for all of you. 14 the high in Wellington, 15 for those of you in Kapiti, Levin and New Plymouth. It's looking lovely shifting east as well with plenty of blue in the sky. You'll notice a bit of cloud roll in tonight though. 17 the high for Masterton, Napier and Gisborne. You'll have a funny mix in the Bay of Plenty though with fine spells, bit of cloud cover and the chance of some isolated showers throughout the day. 16 degrees in Taumaranui and Whakatane and Tauranga. And there's a bit of cloud floating around first thing in the upper north with a couple of morning showers likely, but that should clear for most places to some nice weather. 16 degrees in Hamilton and Whangarei, 17 for Auckland and further north in Kaitaia. And then this is what your Friday looks like. Apart from a couple of afternoon showers in the east of the North Island, it is a great end to the working week. Plenty of sunshine to go around.
Big day in New Zealand and around the world today. A lot of very important events on, but nothing more important in the Jones household than the Taranaki Science Fair. And by popular demand, my 10-year-old Marley Jones, it's her first time in the Science Fair, and she has made as we were talking before, a replica of the Maui A gas production platform. They do some drilling there, they drill big holes, and there it is.
Wow.
Look at that. So up the top there, that's like, it was a shoebox. Some other bits and pieces, a lot of handy rolls there, a lot of paint, and then just down the bottom, that's kind of a look at inside. There's some beds and a kitchen and all that. And
very cool.
She's very proud of it, and about 10 adults worked on it.
Yesterday, you were sort of being hauled over the coals because of your flying and not carbon offsetting. Yeah. In a way, this is carbon offsetting because you've got the oil drilling fiasco, but then you also have the fact that you've recycled all these materials to construct it. So there you go, carbon offsetting.
Basically, I think that would offset all the carbon that the actual oil rig.
Got to start somewhere, don't you?
So that makes me my daughter carbon neutral by making dirty grey oil
out of recycled
materials.
I reckon if she burns it. Sorry, I mean it looks beautiful and well done.
But you hate it.
I don't know about celebrating the fossil. You know, it's a great industry for
torn, aren't you?
Taranaki. I'm so torn.
You would go great in New Plymouth, Hayley. They would love you down there.
They probably would. I mean, you know, I'm a down-home country girl sometimes when I want to be, but yeah, I just won't visit the oil rigs.
Fair enough. All right, coming up. The mother whose unconditional love and support enabled her daughter to inspire millions around the world will have the story after the break.
For a special lady.
She's very,
Slightly outrageous, but relatively normal. A very special request.
I have never been asked to design a dress that has a detachable boob flap.
Tonight, there's a first time for everything.
I'm freaking out. Don't mind, Charlie.
But can he pass his test on the first try?
Charlie, right? That is not right.
What a nightmare.
Driving test follows the Posh Frock Shop. Tonight on One. Spring into a new season at Columbus Coffee. Try our delicious Vietnamese chicken salad, our tasty summer bowl, or spoil yourself with heavenly Belgian waffles. All part of our new spring-summer menu. Columbus Coffee, your local favourite. Bring your indoors outside with a Mimosa gazebo. It's easy to assemble, is rust-resistant, and has waterproof polycarb roof panels. Bring inside living outside with a Mimosa Palermo gazebo. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
She loves cats, so tonight I'll borrow my neighbor's. My babies.
Temptations cat treats. It's better when it's made in New Zealand. Carpet Mill, where quality and luxury meet. 9 kg, that's 72 ounce. Like for like, we guarantee that you save at least 10%, and that's a fact. Carpet Mill's got you covered nationwide.
Have you even moved since I left?
Yeah, I went to the toilet.
So you haven't done the washing up?
I'll do that later.
You know what? I'm subbing you out.
What?
Tane, you're out.
Hey.
Hey.
Is that a tactical change or is it a genuine injury? Well, that's the end of his afternoon. Really hasn't played well today.
If, like us, you're inspired by New Zealand's spectacular beauty and truly value superior design and quality, start your building journey with us. Call now or visit our website to get your copy of our new landmark inspiration and design guide.
Ownrings is spring loaded with savings. Buy 2 veggie packs, get the 3rd free. Buy 1 strawberry pack, get the 2nd half price. And enjoy 30% off Halliburris White Magic.
Ask us anything at Ownrings.
Hey Auckland, which of the UE 40 ways to save would work best for where you live? Grey Lynn, close to the city, is where Ava lives. So number 1 of 40, don't drive to work, could be best for her. Do a car insurance quote at ue.co.nz.
It's my rules, my style at Valentine's Fashion Central.
Rugby or romance. No matter what you're streaming, it's great on a nice big Samsung TV. Get yours for free when you join Trustpower for unlimited data, broadband and power on a 24-month bundle plan. Terms, conditions and exit fees apply. Kia ora, welcome back to breakfast. Our next guest is 37-year-old Shari Bernard. She is a South African school teacher who also just happens to have Down syndrome, and this is a world first. She's been asked to speak at the United Nations. She's met dignitaries, celebrities like Oprah Winfrey. She's here with us now from Christchurch with her mum Suzette. Good morning to both of you. Welcome to the bottom of the world.
Thank you so much for inviting for us.
Shari,
Thank you so much.
What brings you two here?
You hear me when I talk at the school, so then it's such a pleasure to sit here and to talk about you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think we came to New Zealand to talk to people, to illustrate that it is okay to be a Down syndrome person, and to illustrate to people that you can acquire many things, that you can do many things if you really want to and really try to do certain things. So we came here actually just to perhaps change perceptions about what people with Down syndrome can do.
What were the hurdles to getting a teaching diploma, Shari?
Okay, I think you must just tell.
I failed some of my subjects again and again, and sometimes again. But I never gave up. I only tried harder. I believe you're only a failure when you give up trying. I never felt sorry for myself. It is a waste of energy. But dear listeners, I'm
I am in good company. 3 presidents of the USA, Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, and Lyndon Johnson all needed some extra time to finish their studies. So, who am I to complain?
Go girl, that is fantastic. What is your message? Well, you've been speaking to a lot of parents around South Africa. What is your message to them?
Life has no guarantees. If you want guarantees, buy yourself a kettle. The truth is, life has happiness and sadness, but it depends on us, on what we do with our lives. Success is measured against oneself. Never compare you to others. Make the most of your opportunities and make peace with the fact that the Lord made us all different. We must never let our circumstances limit our dreams. Rather use it to your advantage and don't ever waste time. In my life, the elevator to success has been out of order and I had to use the stairs. I had to take one step at a time. I had very few role models like Helen Keller. Although she was blind and deaf, she learned to communicate and lived a life helping others. She said there are no shortcuts to any place worth going to. Without shortcuts and with a lot of hard work, everything worked out for me in the end. So, if it hasn't worked out for you yet, just keep on trying. Remember to believe in yourself. If you think you can't, you can't. Shoot for the stars and be the best you that you can be. Today, I can truly thank the Lord for making me exactly as I am, a person with Down syndrome.
Shri, I think that is the most beautiful answer I've ever heard to a question on television. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Suzette, when Shri was born, can you tell me about what services there were, what acceptance there was for people with disabilities in South Africa?
37 years ago is a long time, so perceptions were much different from today. And when Cherie was born, the idea was still to put children who do not fit into the perfect box, which they thought was the perfect box, in institutions. So there were no support in the form of physiotherapy, speech therapy and therapists and stuff like that. There were actually a negative perception of people having children with disabilities. Religiously, some people thought you have sinned, and because you have sinned, you have a child like that. And many people in Africa still believe it's a bad omen if you have a child with a disability. So I think the minute I saw this little baby, I realized that it was such a perfect little baby, looking different from the other babies, but actually my baby was much more beautiful than all the other little babies, and I was so proud of her. So yes, I didn't receive the support from official support. I had to read things from America, from other places, to try to stimulate her.